So good morning, everybody. With the permission of Director Irma and all the stalwarts of dairy industry, I would like to start today's webinar. At the onset, I wish all of you a very, very happy World Milk Day. This is a day in recognition of the contribution of dairy industry to the world population. We know that our industry is different from other industries. आप इधर बैठिए और जो डेयरी का चला जाता है उनको फिर रिजॉइन करने। So on this World Milk Day, we appreciate the efforts made by the dairymen of the world, and especially in India, the dairy industry is different than the other parts of the world, being mainly run by the smallholder dairy farms, the farmers and cooperatives, where the major share of profit goes back to the farmers. So dairying is a source of livelihood and a socio-economic development in our country. We know this very well, and globally also, dairy is being promoted. Probably it is a livelihood of 1 billion people across the globe, and there are so many people dependent on this indirectly. Dairy is a very good source of nutrition and health. We cannot forget it. We have been taught by our ancestors and our all ancient scriptures. If you see Rigveda, Atharvaveda, Bhagavad Gita, you will find the mentions of cow and milk. So we all know, and this is the day where we appreciate particularly the dairy industry. Today in this webinar, our theme is in line with what is proposed by the World Milk Day organization, that we should all make our efforts, concentrated efforts. Is it audible?
Oh. Yes, sir, it's audible. Please go ahead.
So we need to make efforts to reduce environmental impact of dairying. And in this context, we have invited Sri Amit Vyas, the Managing Director of Amul Dairy, to share his experiences, because he has done several experiments at Amul Dairy plant, and that may be an example for others to learn from that. We have also planned to print the success stories of the farmers who have contributed to reduce carbon footprint of dairying. Probably we could not collect much stories before 1st of June. We have few, and we are still collecting few more, and then we'll bring out as a publication later on. So with this introduction, I request the Director of Institute of Rural Management, Professor Umakant Das, to give a welcome address on behalf of VKCOE as well as IRMA, as well as the entire dairy fraternity. Welcome you, sir, to this program. And Professor Das, I request you to please give your welcome address.
Thank you, Dr. Prajapati, Dr. R.S. Sodhi, Dr. Sri Minesa, ED, NDDB, Sri Amit Vyasji, and other dignitaries present from IDA, and my colleagues and ladies and gentlemen. I wish you all very happy World Milk Day and extend a warm welcome on behalf of the VKCOE and on my behalf to the webinar titled Reducing Carbon Footprint of Dairying on the occasion of the World Milk Day, being organized by the VKCOE Center in association with the Indian Dairy Association, that chapter. When it comes to milk product or any interventions in the dairy sector, Gujarat stands first. Thanks to the father of white revolution, Dr. Kurian Varghese, and his not his brainchild or brainchildren like NDDB, GCMMF, Amul brand, etc., for their continuous effort in leading to his dream. In spite of the importance of the sector, it's again a age-old sector. In spite of its importance to the Indian economy, I think we are still struggling with a lot of issues, challenges that this particular sector is confronting with. And as researchers, academic community or research institutions, it is our responsibility to not only generate and disseminate the importance, the value, particularly the nutrient value of milk products, and its importance to the millions of livelihood support that it gives to millions of households in India. I think in this particular context, when the entire world is struggling with more and, of course, intense environmental pressure on farmers and its subsequent effort, it is more important than ever that farm business need to be sustainable, both economically as well as environmentally. I think now today in our webinar, we are going to listen to some of the successful experiences or experiments undertaken by, or initiatives undertaken by NDDB as well as Amul Dairy. So these, how using these modern techniques and through proper planning, we can reduce the carbon footprints of the dairy farm or dairy sector. These experiences are not only going to help other states, other cooperatives, other farming community in reducing the carbon footprint. So I'm sure this webinar is going to bring a lot of insight to and will be useful to all those who are attending. So with these few words, I again welcome you to the webinar on reducing carbon footprint of dairying on the occasion of the World Milk Day. Thank you very much. Over to Dr. J.V. Prajapati.
Thank you very much, sir, for your welcome address. And we all know that the Indian dairy industry is making a lot of efforts to promote the dairying, basically on cooperative model, and also taking so many initiatives methane gas emission, and so many things. So to begin with, I would like to invite Shri Minesh Shah, the Executive Director of National Dairy Development Board, to give his remarks and also brief us about the initiatives taken by National Dairy Development Board in reducing the carbon footprint of dairying in India. So
Thank you, sir.
Minesh Bhai. Minesh Bhai is well known to all of
Yes.
us, basically dairy technology graduate, and then the Ehrman from this world reputed institution of rural management, and is a very successful professional technically and with management issues and so, and he is handling a lot of bigger responsibility in National Dairy Development Board with National Dairy Plan also. So Minesh Bhai, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Dr. Umakant Das, Dr. Sodhi, Dr. Prajapati, Sri Amit Vyas, Sri Arun Patil ji, Deepak Shah, Dr. J.V. Parekh, Sri Nitesh Mathur, and Professor Hitesh Bhatt, all the known faces. So all the participants of this webinar. I'm first of all, let me wish a very happy World Milk Day to all of you. It's really a pleasure to be, with all among you for discussing the ways and means of reducing carbon footprint in dairying. We all know India is the largest milk producer in the world, and I think that gives us more responsibility to ensure that country's milk production remains environmentally sustainable. I think that is the first lesson we all have to take from this webinar. And for achieving the same, NDDB has taken various initiatives. We are largely working on the feeding management, improving the crop residue utilization. Manure management is the new initiative which we have taken. And we are also promoting the use of renewable energy. I think Amit is going to talk more on that. And improving the efficiency of dairy plants. So let me begin with the feeding management, what we are doing. In our country, I think ration fed to majority of dairy animals is nutritionally imbalanced. And this results into a very high enteric methane emission per kilogram of milk. So if we feed the animals, which is nutritionally balanced ration, then their entire lifespan, it is possible to reduce carbon footprint in milk by almost 30%. So I think the first realization at NDDB is to feed balanced ration to the animals and reduce the carbon footprint. NDDB's RBP, it's a well-known ration balancing program, educated milk producers on scientific feeding of their animals and also delivered these services doorstep. And almost 3 million dairy farmers of all the major dairying states have been covered under this program. And due to RBP, enteric methane emission per kilogram of milk was reduced by almost 15%. And it is estimated that if we are able to implement RBP in the country, then there is a reduction of about 545,000 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent emissions every year. So this is the first effort which NDDB is making. The another efforts in the right direction is the crop residue management. About 92 million tons of surplus crop residue is being burned every year. We have all seen the North India, Punjab, Haryana, the kind of crop burning takes place. And that has a very negative impact on the environment. I think Delhi, is the best example what it out of this crop burning in Punjab and Haryana, the issues which Delhi is facing. So under National Dairy Plan, we thought about securing these crop residues from field, and we demonstrated the use of several types of mowers, pickup devices among farmers to secure these crop residues. And now many farmers are using these devices to secure these crop residues. And NDDB has now introduced a concept called total mix ration. It's a TMR basically. They are in the pellet form for feeding dairy animals. So that will not only improve the milk productivity, but will also incorporate these crop residues, which are secured from the field to the extent of 15 to 30% and minimize the GHG footprint of milk production. So this is the another initiative. Just to give you some idea, under NDP1, 2 TMR plants of 50 metric ton per day capacity were set up at Kolhapur and Ganganagar Milk Union. Ganganagar being very close to the Punjab and Rajasthan and Haryana border, we thought of setting a plant there, and they both are satisfactory functioning now. These plants are have almost produced 3,500 metric tons of crop residue. They have used for producing almost 8,000 metric ton of TMR pellets. So this has avoided release of, if we calculate, about 5,500 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent emissions into the environment, apart from improving the milk production of animals by almost 25% and thus reduce the carbon footprint of milk. The third initiative, which I will briefly touch upon, is the manure management initiative of NDDB. So we are supporting dairy farmers to establish biogas plant, small flexible biogas plant at their household. Amol is our partner in this initiative. And so far, we have set up about 2,000 such biogas plants in 18 milk states of India. And this has reduced the, the carbon emission by almost 4,000 tons. So farmers are using this biogas plant and also the slurry, which is produced from the biogas plant on their own farms. And if they have surplus slurry, it is aggregated through again a biogas owner, a women's manure cooperative, and on a defined quality parameter. So we have now quality parameters for the bioslurry defined, and they get the payment. And out of this bioslurry, we are producing fortified solid and also the liquid biofertilizers. This use of bioslurry and the upgraded products of biofertilizers, they have reduced the requirement of chemical fertilizer and resulting in improving the soil fertility and also the crop productivity. So I think the dairy farmers are now, earning more and also simultaneously reducing the carbon footprint. So this is one more initiative. I think we have recently taken it forward, and I hope more and more farmers will take advantage of this initiative. And the last one, which I would like to touch upon, which Amit is going to, I think, focus more, is the energy management. So optimizing the usage of energy and resources, I think, is the key for sustenance of environment and also the energy management. So we are already testing utilization of non-conventional energy sources in all the dairy projects which we are setting up, and we actually plan to make an integral part of future industrial projects. So one such initiative is the implementation of CST, concentrated solar thermal system, and integrating with the existing thermal utilities of the dairy plant. So this is the initiative we have taken, and many dairy plants have now set up the CST. The another initiative is the solar photovoltaic systems. So to generate electricity, it can be utilized in routine operations. When you don't need the solar energy, it can be exported to the grid. So this is a simple solution which we are implementing now. And if we see the future, I think NDDB has the technical expertise for holistically addressing the challenges of mitigating the carbon footprint of dairying through maybe improved feed and fodder production, or setting up village-based TMR plant, or even developing supplement for methane mitigation and improved manure management. And the last is the use of maybe generation of renewable energy. NDDB would be very happy to support and collaborate with all the interested milk unions, federations, and the farmers to transform the dairy sector towards the carbon neutral. I think net zero is the word, and we should all take it forward from here. Thank you very much for giving the opportunity to me to share views of NDDB. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minesh Bhai. You have touched upon almost all the possible areas of action which a dairy can do to reduce the environmental impact of the dairy industry. And with these your initiatives will further grow, and probably people will take example from you, and many unions and states will be in line to adapt all these things. And surely we will try to reach our target. We want to become a carbon neutral industry in very near future. So thanks once again for your initiatives. I know that you are busy because there are so many webinars today. So you can leave as and when required, but
Thank
we'll
you, sir.
proceed ahead with our proceedings. And next I invite Dr. R.S. Sodhi, Managing Director of GCMF Limited, Amul. Sir, आपके बारे में इंट्रोडक्शन देना मेरे मेरे बस की बात नहीं है, और इस ग्रुप में ऐसा कोई नहीं है जो आपको अच्छी तरह से जानता ना हो, इसलिए प्लीज एक्सक्यूज मी, आई विल नॉट dare to introduce you. You are the topmost ranking person in country today, especially in the press and media and everywhere. दिन से हम सुनते रहते, आपका मैसेज पढ़ते, आपका ट्विटर हैंडल पढ़ते रहते. तो मेरा सबसे विनती है कि आप डॉक्टर सोधी को फॉलो कीजिएगा ट्विटर पे, साथ साथ में बीकेसी को भी फॉलो कीजिएगा, क्योंकि हम भी कुछ ना कुछ बीच में घुसाने की कोशिश करते रहते, एंड इट इज फॉर द बेनिफिट द एंटायर डेयरी इंडस्ट्री ऑफ द कंट्री. So Sodhi Saab, I will not eat your time, and now the platform is yours to express your views on this World Milk Day. Thank you very much, sir. Please.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. J.B. Prasad ji, and good morning to everybody. Honorable Dr. Umakant Das ji, Director IRMA, Shri Minesh Shah ji, Executive Director NDDB, अमित व्यास जी, मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर अमूल, और बाकी सब जो भी डेयरी इंडस्ट्री के वेटरन हैं. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई लाइक टू थैंक द वर्गीस कुरियन सेंटर ऑफ एक्सीलेंस एज वेल एज IRMA फॉर ऑर्गेनाइजिंग दिस today's seminar on Dr. Verghese Kurian birth centenary year. And very appropriate topic, carbon footprint. How to reduce carbon footprint in dairy. I see after me Shri Amit Vyas is here and he is the expert. He has done lot of things. तो मुझे जब कल बोला गया कि आपको भी बोलना, मैंने कहा यार ये मेरा सब्जेक्ट नहीं है. Because it's a very technical subject, but I thought let me talk in a very my own language. देखिए, the carbon footprint or methane or greenhouse gas emission, we are talking just to save climate, what is happening in the climate. So in layman language, you see, this whole atmosphere, whole earth belongs to everybody who is the habitat of earth equally. There are no boundaries. There are no states, there are no countries, there are no language barrier. So if we have got around 7 billion people, the 7 billion people over the whole climate. So we have to see that each one of us reduces the greenhouses or carbon or the methane emission so that we can save the earth for the next generation. I was just going through the data and very interesting. The carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gas emission, if you see per capita, India's is only 1.84 ton per capita, vis-a-vis global average of 4.8, vis-a-vis USA, Europe is around 16 to 17 metric ton, and the oil producing country around 49 to 50. So we are more or less 30% of the world average, but 10%, 5% of other rich countries. So first we have to understand, we as a nation, we of 1.35 billion are producing less than this. Now out of the total emission, if you see, 25% is contributed to the food. When I say food, does not mean only dairy. It contributes dairy, food, agriculture, food processing, transportation, and everything. And most interesting data which I got from this Dr. Vandana Shiva data, where she has given Oxfam report, where she says that world's 1% richest population produces double than the 1 billion people who are at the lower level. So 1% people are producing double than or 2x of 3.5 billion people. So you can understand how much inequality is there in whole climate destroying or whatever you say emission is concerned. And if you see country-wise, USA is responsible 40% of excess global CO2. जितना भी excess globe में CO2 emission of 40% is contributed by USA, 29% is Europe, and G8 countries are contributing 85%. You see, why I'm coming to this subject is basically you see, this climate or the emission is the latest tool which now is being used by industrialized global food producer to stop the growth of global food production in the developing countries or by the smaller producer. You see, there is also very interesting data. I mean, per protein, kg of protein and fat production, if you see, that average is around 2.5 kg of carbon dioxide is emitted to produce 1 kg of fat and acid. But it varies from the lower producing forms, family farm 1.3 to industrial farms or industrial agriculture to 7.2 kg. So what it shows is bigger the farm, bigger the agricultural land, more mechanization, more industrial production, carbon emission is more. So first thing is we have to see if we have to reduce carbon emission in the dairy, we have to see how to go for more small farms, because the small farm, the whole system is good. I mean, you feed whatever dung is coming, either you are processing it or using as a biofertilizer. So methane or carbon dioxide emission is minimum. And that is where we have to bring the knowledge. Similarly, if you see, they say India को गाय भैंस नहीं रखनी चाहिए. इंडिया में 300 million cow buffaloes are there. बाकी जगह इससे 1/10 में we are producing 10 times more. But let me tell you one more data. Per capita milk animal availability in India is only 0.22. मतलब 5 आदमियों के सामने एक गाय भैंस है. जबकि यूएसए में इससे तकरीबन 20-25 अबाउट 0.27 है. और न्यूजीलैंड में तो एक आदमी के सामने 1.25 गाय भैंस है. So where it should be reduced? Where because earth belongs to everybody. If I am producing X, you are also entitled to produce X. But you are producing 5X, and you are telling me I should not produce milk because my inefficient. So what I want all the scientists to sitting here, I think more research is needed to come out with the data of India or smaller countries, especially IRMA can work. What is the methane emission of Indian breed, Indian farming system, Indian dairy farms, and what are the feeds which reduces less methane or the carbon dioxide emission? No doubt, Indian dairy industry is doing a lot, like in case of Amul. I mean, the first thing which we have done last 14 years is tree plantation. I think all the dairies who have joined us from everybody is doing and during the rainy season, that 15th August, around 15th August, tree plantation. If I last 14 years, we have done 85 million plantation in the Gujarat, in the rural Gujarat. Similarly, Mineji mentioned a lot of experiments and pilots have been done on the gobar gas, the small farm gobar gas production. Solar power is being used. And also we are working a lot what type of feeding system is best to reduce the carbon. So what I want to say is, one side we have to do a lot of facts we have to come out. Like in other, I mean, I don't want to talk to the other subject where how people are world bigger global food companies are trying to reduce the India's dairy or the milk or the food production. This is the one tool. So we have to come out with more scientific research and data to give our argument that look here, our methane emission or carbon dioxide is more efficient. We are producing less. Our feeding system, our small farm system, our processing system, our fresh product selling system is more carbon emission, less carbon emission than that, because we are using less of process, less of food storage and everything. So I think we have got Amit ji after me, and I think he is going to tell lot of steps taken by the Gujarat dairy industry in reducing the carbon and methane emission. So with these words, I tell all the dairy veterans who have joined here, let us work together on this subject, which is very, very important, but also we should tell the facts to the world. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, VOA, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for very insightful talk. And the multinationals and the bigger countries which are playing a blame game on us has to be treated seriously, and there should be a befitting reply to those. And with the same thing, we are also paying very much concentrated efforts to reduce the impact of dairying on the environment. So thank you very much, sir, and we'll be taking all the efforts to make that our dairy becomes carbon neutral. Now with this, we'll go to our main speaker. Sri Amit Vyas is in this dairy business since he has graduated. He is basically an engineer in instrumentation, and then he has also done his PGDRM for IRMA. But we know him as coming from a dairy family because his father was managing director of Ahmedabad Union. His sister also is a BTech dairy technology graduate, and he himself is in the dairy business. We know him achieving and bringing so many awards for Amul Dairy and now for Amul Dairy also. He has taken so many initiatives, but since 2012, when he joined Amul, we have seen a sea change in the Amul's activities and efficiencies. Actually, he is focused on overall growth of the organization, and particularly in the areas of conservation of cost reduction in milk and cattle feed. I had heard him several times on saving energy when he was in Sumul, and he has installed several plants there. पहली बार हमने देखा था कि सोलार से और प्लांट के अंदर से हीट को रिमूव करने के लिए कैसे-कैसे अटेम्प्ट्स किए जाते हैं. He has also worked on other areas of new product development as well as also on the animal feeding sites and so. And also he has developed established mineral mixture plant, RUTF plant, THR plant, also in Mogar complex. And Amul became the first prize winner of National Energy Conservation Award in 2018 in the food processing sector. So Amit Bhai has done a lot of work, and that motivated us to invite him to make a lead presentation today, so that on the footprints of Amul, the other unions and other federations of the country can take lead and do work. No doubt, Valsad Dairy and so many other unions in Gujarat, Gujarat has remained a leader in development dairy and also taking leadership in energy conservation too. So, under the platform of PKCOU and Indian Dairy Association of Gujarat State Chapter, it is our privilege to invite Sri Amit Vyas, Managing Director of Amul Dairy, to give a talk on how to reduce carbon footprint of dairy industry. So, Amit Bhai, please.
Thank you, Prajapati sir. So, good morning, everyone. First of all, a very happy World Milk Day to all of you. And it's a wonderful platform, I would say, and wonderful, great day. And the program coordinated by Varghese Kuria Center of Excellence and Institute of Rural Management, IRMA, Anand, and Indian Dairy Association Gujarat Chapter for organizing, the talk of the town, as we say, is reducing carbon footprints of dairying. Now, first of all, thank you, Umakant Das sir, Sodhi sir, Manish bhai, and all the veterans over here. Let me tell you, this is the right topic, when people are talking. In fact, I remember having gone along with Sodhi sir to International Dairy Federation, and where everybody was talking about carbon footprints and how to reduce this, and people talking, saying that dairy, basically the cattle are the key contributor, and dairy is basically the key, area where, because of the methane content, this is happening. But let me tell you very honestly, as Sodhi Sahab also said, and Minesh bhai also said, that see, we are far better than the Western world, to be very honest. To give you a basic example, and we have good sunshine, and we wash our clothes and we put it in sunlight. If you even calculate that across India, it's billion and billion tons of CO2 reduction that is happening. Like in the Western world, they use the machines to do the drying of this. It's just an example to say that. So I'll start my presentation. I hope everybody is able to look at my presentation. If I can hear something. So, yes. Okay. So just to give an idea, I think most of the people know that it's on Amul model and Amul pattern, as we all have, is 18 district cooperatives, 3.6 million farmers, and almost handling more than 35 million liters of milk, and with a turnover of GCMF crossing 5.1 billion USD. And the model remains it's a cooperative model, which I think most of the people know this. But many may not be knowing that Amul Dairy, Khera District Cooperative Milk Producers Union, we are now in the 75th year. And we are almost around having more than 42 units across 13 states now, and having more than 700,000 milk farmers, and handling capacity of more than 5.2 million, and having a turnover of this time crossed $1.19 billion US. And as he says, that we also got many of the awards. And to just give you a glimpse on just of the photograph, that how Amul is expanding last 75 years, and particularly in a couple of years, we have been having lots of plants across India. It's not only in dairy, but in non-dairy business, as well as on the farm level, and all the new products coming in, I think most of people have tasted the Amul, the taste of India. You know that all these things, the new products which are coming in, and continuously it's coming, launched by GCMMF. Sodhi Sahib is taking lead in that, and recently you find n number of products and a very different varieties and different range of product coming in the dairy industry. And as you all know that I think now we are also into the food and green, Amul green segment, where Foodland, and we're trying to give the good quality products to, at least for people of Anand, they can enjoy in nearby areas, they can enjoy this. So coming to what is basically footprint, just to give a glimpse exactly, people should understand what exactly is carbon footprint. You know, people talk about carbon footprint, but it is actually basically the amount of CO2 and other greenhouse gases emission being done by an organization. So if you see how this happens, and this has been happening across for years, and you know, it's the measure is generally about carbon dioxide or kg of carbon dioxide which is given. So how it happens, you know, it's basically when you generate electricity, you are using the fossil fuel, you know, and you are using, when you transport, you are using again the fuel, you are generating the waste. So this basically measures the impact of activities on the environment and particular climatic change. Just to have an idea, and this is a slide which basically, you know, it was an alarm for the entire world, and where the Paris Agreement was been done. If you see in 1880, the earth was very cool and the temperatures were very bad. Industrialization has not taken place. But if you see this graph, by 2020, though it has started coming down because a lot of efforts have been going on, you are having at least around 400 ppm of carbon dioxide concentration at this point of time, with a rise of around 0.8 to 1 degree temperature rise in the earth temperature. So you need to understand, let me tell you, this has happened after 30 billion years. I was looking at the data in the Google, and I found that this has happened, it's after 30 million years. So it's really alarming, and the graph is moving up. But you can find this graph is going still down because a lot of efforts have been put across the globe, and it's not only by only by one country, but everybody collectively are trying to put, and you can see that it has come down. The last in 2020 is still coming down. So that's where we are working, and still we all need to work. Now, if you see this indicators of global warming across the world, and it says that our current and the potential future climate clearly indicates that the climate change is real, and people were talking, no, it is not because of the sun heat it is happening. It is not. It is attributed by the human activities only. Let us accept this, and it is really a very serious problem at this point of time. Now, what we have seen because of the effects of this, you must have seen recently we saw on the eastern coast and the west coast, we had cyclones, that everybody agrees. We see that there has been drought across many places. We have seen in Australia also there have been drought. If you see in US, in California, the Amazon and on that area where there have been fire in the forest. We have seen the ice melting in Arctic, and we have been getting a lot of photographs across from the NASA that's stating that there's been reduction in the ice in the Arctic. What we have seen is the same time is water getting scared. You have the earth is filled with water, we say, but for drinking purpose, and it's live, right? If the summer is approaching and this is happening at this point of time, we have also seen that there has been food supply instability. That is, in some countries you have excess, in some countries you don't have. We see that in production, as Minesh was also talking, that a lot of things get wasted. And at the same time, this is also affecting the malnutrition, in basically undernourishment, increasing undernourishment in the people across the globe. So global warming has lots and lots of impact. The marine life is getting disturbed, because of this. The sea levels are increasing. The temperature of sea is varying. We have acid rains. We have been, discussing the cyclones frequency has increased, and we have seen in a couple of years the cyclone frequency has increased a lot. Now, what can we do? I'm talking in general at this point of time. It is not that the world will come together, people will talk in the meetings, and everybody has to work. But I am very, very simplified. In simplified version, I would say that to limit this temperature of 1.5 degree increase, which was expected, but we could curtail it to 1. The world could curtail it to 1. We must drop our greenhouse emission by 7.6% each year between next 20 years. So next decade, everywhere it has to come down by 7.6 years, and it requires lots of effort. Now, what all we can do, I'm not talking in dairy, but as an individual, a very basic thing is switch to LEDs. You try to unplug the unused electronics. I talked about the example of washing clothes rather than using it and cleaning it in the machines. Trying to get more certified energy efficient appliance. For the Western world, they need to insulate the homes, but at the same time, we also need to insulate our areas where whatever we can do. We have to walk, we have to avoid wasting the unnecessary energy, and at the same time, try to have more carpools or public transit rather than having individual all those things. And how can we avoid in last because of pandemic, if you see, the air travels has reduced a lot. Now that has basically bring down the carbon reduction. So what Amul, this was about the global scenario. Now I'd like to share about the CO2 emission reduction at Amul, what Amul Dairy as a whole, or Amul as a whole has done. If you see our model, it is from C to C, we say that cow to consumer, and every area needs to be worked upon, every area needs to be touched upon to bring in this reduction of CO2 emission in the entire supply chain. Now, if I talk of Amul, now I come to Amul that what are the activities or initiatives that we have taken in Amul is to start with, as we say that which is the biggest source of energy, as we know, that is the sun. So now this is for the first time we developed this along with IDMC, and it's a solar BMC at our farm, and we have realized that this is an excellent result. And you can see this along with there's a tank wherein we have a glycol, and we generate energy in this. We generate we chill this, basically cool this with the compressor, which is again a VFD based compressor. It's a unique of its kind, been developed first time by IDMC and Amul worked together for this program, and this has now been installed. So this is the first step towards the saving at the village level right now, because at collection level we need to have such kind of things. So now Amul is going ahead with 150 more such kind of BMC, solar BMC, which will be now putting up across the Kera, for which we have already raised the tenders, and the work is in progress. So for this is the first step, as Minesh Bhai talked about, at the village level, biogas generation. I think more than 200 villages in villages and at homes. We have now, along with NDDB, we have worked, and we have slurry collection tanks at biogas generation. We have balloon, and the gas is getting utilized. And later on, we are also using it to convert into fertilizer, which Minesh Bhai talked about. This needs to be replicated. That's an area where we can really work together and do that. Mujkua model of solar, yes, this is going to be the future, as we say that at village level, the rooftop BMCs, and later on, if we can have separate solar systems at the farm levels individually, and then giving it to the grid is one of the, a pilot which has been done at Mujkua, but then certainly this needs to be replicated. That's an area where I'm saying that we need to work a lot to bring down this, the carbon footprint. Now, let us understand at what level, at milk procurement level, what all can be done. You can see this a society over here, Milk Cooperative Society, and you have, I would start with the digital tagging of the animals. Now you understand that how this can bring down the carbon. It's very, very interesting. Let me tell you, what in Amul now we have done is that we have, you can see a ear tag, which is a digital ear tag, and that is connected to our system. So we know what is the health of the animal. There's whether the animal is under heat, whether animal is not under heat, whether animal is eating, why it is not eating. All kind of data is coming to our entire system, and we come to know that yes, this is where we need to do the treatment. Now, this model, how it gets converted is basically when you come to know individual farmer even need not to call that my animal is not good. Now, we come to know there are farmers who just call said that my animal is not getting up, and then you arrange for a vehicle and a doctor. It's a cost. It's a cost to the environment. It is, you are using your vehicle to reach there, time for the people and energy, and basically it's all getting converted into the fuel, using of fuel and into the the carbon which you are generating out of it. So even the smallest of the tag would help us to know, and we are now converting this into more than 10 villages. This model is getting replicated. I think we have done it for more than 200 animals. This tagging system and this model has been, this is what you see, the photographs of Amul only, and at our Amul farm, and we have been successfully able to do this. At the same time, you know why I'm saying this, that with this kind of data coming in, we also know right now in our entire system, you can see a centralized veterinary call center system, the entire model is so much digitalized that we know what farmer is making animal to eat. So we know these are the feed which has been given to the animal on daily basis. When doctor goes there, he has got his own pad with him, and the data is on the system. Every time he selects the data, what has been given to them. Based on that, as Minesh Bhai was talking about ration balancing program, now we have got a software wherein we are, in very soon that trials are going on, we will be able to give the right ration balance. And like you know, as a dietitian, you go to a dietitian, I want to reduce my weight, and they take your data and then you say that, okay, these are the things that you are supposed to eat. So we will be giving this to the farmer instantly on mobile. Right now we are giving all the disease data, whatever treatment we are doing on mobile. We don't write any papers, nothing on this sort. Same thing will happen for artificial insemination. That is happening right now. Is for farmer has to go to the app and just send it that he wants to have the service, and through our call center automatically without getting a call, almost more than 100% now AI calls, almost 2,000 to 3,000 calls are coming, which are going directly to the AI worker, and he would reach with the shortest period of time, and we are able to control the movement of the people and unnecessary reduction. This is going to have a huge impact. Why I always say that if you design digitalized way of operating the entire system at the village level or the plant level or at the market level, you can bring down the CO2 emissions. Now, having said this, I talked about the ration balancing program, which is now in place, and that would basically ensure the human would be well maintained, and based on that, we have taken some of the trials, but as Sodhi Saab said, that we need to do a lot of studies in seeing that what kind of, when the dung comes out, what kind of methane content does it has, when we give a normal feed and what the kind of feed and fodder and the ration balance program and the ration program, the TMR that we have now derived, how much reduction in methane is going to happen. That is what is our focus, and the total focus at the village level, for the farm level, Amul has done it, is digitalizing all the activity, which will further bring down the carbon footprint. Now, also at the same time, the mastitis control program or the brucellosis control program is now based on the, we have COVID strips coming in, and you can do the testing of your COVID on that particular strip, homemade strip. So we have now worked with the companies. I remember having gone again with Sodhi Saab to Turkey, and where we found that the pregnancy strips or the mastitis prevention strip or brucellosis strip, that we are now getting developed along with many of the companies, pharma companies. So there is no need for the doctor to reach to the farm to test it, where farmer can do it of its own, and he can take a call if required. Then only the doctor would go. That will have a huge impact on our reduction of our movement of our vehicles and the time, and we would able to reduce that. We have also done, if you see the fodder estimation through ISRO is a wonderful program, and there now through satellite we are knowing that what is happening at the farm level. We know what is at the different farm, what kind of fodder has been grown in the area. So we have the idea of this. So using the technology, you can totally reduce your carbon footprint. Now, coming to the automatic, we talked about the digital tagging of the animal. That was it. That once the milk comes to the society, how can you digitalize the entire operation so that, why I'm showing this is that people may think that what is the importance of digitalization in reduction of carbon footprint. To give an example, this everybody knows that when the farmer goes, the entire model is now digital across Amul, more than 1,000 villages outside Gujarat and 1,200 villages in our milkshed area. The entire model of farmer app, the Amul village level district cooperative society application, member URL application, and the kiosk has been the key as people know, there is no need to take the printout for every time for the farmer to have a look at. He can always look at the data. What you see, the code 050, this morning shift, it goes onto the directly onto his mobile. So there is no need to take out the printout. Even there's no need for them to keep the record of how much, going to the society, movement, going to. So everything has been done through digital way and through bank. So minimum of movement for the farmer, minimum of movement for the society, or minimum of the keeping track of everything will help in reducing this. Now, after this, if you go to the, as I told you, this is connected to the digital tagging of the animal in the CBCC and AI call center. Again, this is a unique model which we have now developed, and this is 100% successful at this point of time. If you see through call center, farmer gives a call, goes to the call center or directly into the server. Once he just puts it on his mobile, goes to a center, allocation of visits to the doctor, and doctor goes for the treatment. And see, we are now doing both ways. One is through digital platform, doctor getting movement through GPS, GPRS, we know that where the doctors are. And we have our own application of employee visit tracking system where we know who the shortest distance doctor is. He can reach there, he can do the treatment, and he can come back, so that we can reduce online case papers. That is also we have started giving to the farmers. There is no need for any paper. I remember big books used to carry by doctors, and used to take 10 to 15 minutes of writing everything and giving one copy to them, one keeping for us, and then one keeping for the center server to do the entry, and then you require a lot of space for keeping all these papers. That has been totally eliminated. So once I talk all about this, means we are reducing the paper, we are reducing trees. Paper means trees means again against carbon. So I'll share that how that is able to reduce everything. Now, having said about the animals going to AMCS, then to call center, we now move to the BMC. Now, almost outside Gujarat, and in Gujarat, more than 100 of our BMCs, and almost outside Gujarat, these are all digital BMC monitoring system where we know what is the temperature. It automatically cuts off. All these BMC temperature achieved automatic cut off, and you are controlling everything. See, this time when the cyclone had come, the advantage what we had in our Milkshed area was that our people were able to track the vehicle. And the most interesting thing was that we could know that what was the milk temperature at the village level, BMC level, at the BMC. And also we were aware of that, how, whether the power is available or not. The beauty of this entire digital monitoring is that you can plan your activities, reduce your transport, and again contribute to the huge, saving of the environment. Now, Then from there, if we move, the milk moves all the way to the plant, and you would find that again we have done this new work, and now we have more than 14 tankers with automatic milk sampler and measurement system. What you see here is a fully automated GPS based system where once the tanker moves onto that village, the quantity of milk received day before, the system comes to know that, and there is a unique RFID based bottles which are placed on beneath this, and we know how much quantity of milk is there, and you can see a small iPad. So we have now more than, you can see all these tankers of Amul are now with this with a tracking system, as well as the auto controlled sampling system. And you can see all these trucks are now like this, and now Amul is now going ahead with 150 tankers. So all the tanker movement will be based on entire GPS with auto controls, with the real movement. We would not be in position to bring any water. There's been talk of in the dairy fraternity that yes, people do put in water, and then we have to carry water and then put it inside the dryer and dry it, and you are using lots of energy, again contributing to the carbon footprint. So here are the small developments which I can assure you would be, if you see, only by this we have been reduction in tanker kilometer by 87,000 kilometers a year in 2021, and with only 14 tanker at this point of time. And you can imagine, if we have 150 tankers, you have the right fat SNF coming in, and at the same time the water level will reduce, so that your energy in the plant would reduce, the plant capacity will go up, your efficiency would go up, your reduction of CO2 would happen. So you can see this, what we have said, that is 65.25 metric tons of CO2 reduction only by route optimization. Now, these were the, what I was talking about at the village level, what initiatives have been taken and what are the initiative needs to be taken. And now come to the plant level, and it's an area where it talks all about the energy management system. Is the area where now the world is focusing, because industrialization, where the transport plays a major role, and we say that the energy efficient plants needs to be derived, like we know in our management system, like power, fuel and water are the key, but there needs to be some kind of model, and I've been sharing this in many of my presentations, that approach to energy management is first basic is, I always say, without investment, what you can do. And only the change of equipment is at the last, where you have the potential saving is to the highest, but at the same time, the cost of investment is also there. So we need to work on this graph. Like in Amul, we have been working in our dairy plant on these, as I say, that rational use of resources or improved housekeeping of the machines, recycling and reuse. I'll share some of the examples in the latest slides, at what process modifications that we have done to bring down the energy. When we talk of energy, we are always linking it to the reduction in CO2. Up till last time when we went to Turkey and we saw that people always talking about CO2, we in Amul have changed our entire, the calculations are now based on energy saving potentials are converted into CO2, percentage of, metric tons of CO2 that has reduced. And if you change the material substitution altogether, how you can, there has been a lot of energy potential saving. And I will share some of the examples. So this is the model on which we work. But in Amul, now, if you see, almost we call it Amul Green, and I think most of the people who have visited Amul would know that we have now 2 big balloons, and all our treated water, whatever effluent is getting generated out of Amul is getting converted into biogas. Biogas is being purified. You can see here, this is our effluent treatment plant. Anybody can visit, and you will find that it's like a garden you can visit, and people say that there was, the window used to be closed in nearby houses earlier. But now they are all open, because there is no smell, no reduction, no, because all these digesters generate a lot of methane. And if you see that methane, basically we used to flare earlier, like this is an earlier photograph, there we used to do this. Wherein now you can find that these purification plants and bottling plants are now available in Amul Dairy. And if you see in last 1 year, quantity of bio-CNG generated is almost, you can see this much quantity. 13 lakh means 1.3 million metric ton of CNG, bio-CNG from the waste has been generated by Amul Dairy, which has reduction in 511 metric tons of, CO2. And I happen to be in Japan to do this presentation on the climatic change, where we shared about that how Amul is basically helping environment. The people are talking that dairy industry is not doing much, but you can find that we have been doing. Now, as we all know, this was, that was about the plant, but CO2 emission reduction at the water, because water, as you all know, is going to be the scarcity over a period of time when the things are changing at a very fast pace. This is our plant in Kapriwao. Now we have got piezoelectric meters, and you can see that the water table is seen here. What is the water table? And when during the rainy season it comes down, means that water level comes up to 15. Earlier we used to send tankers from here for the cattle feed plant for the boiler water consumption, or for the cleanliness, or for the for toilets and other places. Today we don't send any tanker, because we have now 20 recharge borewell systems, such kind of rainwater harvesting, which is going to be the future. Let me tell you, this is not only in Kapriwao, we have now in Mumbai, Virar plant, we also have at same thing, almost now 50 numbers of rainwater harvesting getting installed in Amul Dairy right now, and almost in colonies we have now put up, and another 8 coming in Khatraj, 8 in Mogar, 8 in Kapriwao, in Anand, and in all 10 at Anand. So we have developed, our team has now developed this rainwater harvesting system. We said, why should we purchase from others? Let us do it of our own, and we have developed it in-house only now. So this is where the power lies, and the same thing will need to be replicated at the village level. Every society roof the water and the roof has to be rainwater harvested at the village level if you really want to change the entire the scenario and reduction in the water consumption in the entire India. But at the same time, you will find this the outlet of the balanced water. What we have done, what you see the plant over here, we say that whatever water getting through rain in our system goes directly into the earth. In 24-acre land, whatever water comes, it has to go either to the earth or we go to the pond. And we have now put up a huge pipeline from our plant to the village level pond where the water gets accumulated, and over a period of time, this water can be utilized by the village level, and the water table will increase. There are some of the photographs you can see. And it is not that we are talking. Let me tell you very honestly, in Amul, we say that you can see this. This is a meter which has been installed in this is Amul Dairy. You can see the veterinary department here. And now this is a rainwater harvesting system where water will go inside this after filtration. We will also come to right now you can see this on 28/7. This was the water table 26 meter. So we monitor through this piezoelectric that what is the level of water that is happening at this point of time. Initiative, again, ultimately what is required is the zero, effluent getting generated. We always say not carbon neutral, water neutral, but water surplus. We need to have rainwater harvesting done. And let me tell you, Amul, in next 3 to 4 years, we will be water surplus over a period of time. And this is what the first experiment we did it in Virar plant. We have got so many plants. So we always do different things at different places, not at one place. So rainwater harvesting started from Kapriwao, moved to Mumbai, moved to Anand, now to Khatraj and to Mogar. And the first model of zero liquid discharge in Virar plant, because that's an hilly terrain and we have to purchase water over there. You can see this from January till May only, you will find that we have almost reduced this much quantity of water, which has resulted in the greenhouse emission of 9.6 metric tons, because water to convert into greenhouse gas is very different, but we measure the water table coming up in that area. At the same time, RO polishers in the cheese factory, which was not there. Now you can reutilize the entire water, and we have seen that the water consumption of the entire Khatraj plant, where it was a big challenge for us to handle this water, because cheese require a lot of water, paneer require a lot of water, and a lot of water getting generated in the whey plants. We have reduced that. Water treatment plants also at the Anand, you can see this are fully automatic and hydroflow system, which is consuming less power. This has happened across Amul now with the pressurized system wherever required, auto control system that will help in reducing the water and the power both. At the same time, we know in dairy that you need to have automatic CIP system. This is a new plant which we have now converted the old CIP system of Khatraj into a cheese plant into a fully automated plant where everything is getting recovered, and the rinse milk getting collected, and at the same time whatever condensate getting generated in the factory is now basically being filtered through and being reutilized in the plant. You see the reduction in the greenhouse gases because of that is 482 metric tons per annum. Now you can see all these waters getting sprinkled all over in the Amul Dairy. So that was about the water scenario. Okay. Now how CO2 reduction in the power, it's an area that we always say that the first and the foremost thing is that we need to monitor, and we always need to have ammeter, voltmeter, all kind of meters are required in the system. And what you see here is all from Amul Dairy, that we have across Amul now all these meters installed, and we know what is happening. We also get our energy audit done, and everybody should get it done so that you can reduce the CO2, you can have energy efficiency, cost saving, and you can give more to the farmers at the same time. If you see, this is a daily energy monitoring system of Amul. You can see this on your screen. It is all digitalized. So there is no one, putting up the data in the system, and system generated data comes in where we come to know what is the generation of power, what is the GB. Every data is coming through the system, and it is fully automated. In power management, again, yes, we need to have VFDs and the soft starters being put in to bring down the energy cost. You can see some green patches, these are the dielectric coating being done where you used to have the rubbers. Again, that is a cost. That is again to hampering the environment. You used to throw that after a period of time. Now these are all coatings, dielectric coatings in the Amul Dairy that has helped us reducing the bringing down the energy cost, variable frequency drive and soft starters. At the same time, we always say, I'm basically an instrumentation engineer, and always believe that more automation and more technology and the smallest of automation can give wonderful results. And you'll be surprised if you see now all these electric panels. For the first time, we are going IoT based. Just for everybody's knowledge, is now we are putting up a sensor. Is a sensor which is on the bus bar. On the bus bar, which will give you, or which will, you can see some bus bar here on the top, which will give the temperature of the entire panel as well as on the bus bar. If there is increase, we will stop it, because again, if you do that, there is a blast, there is reduction, you have carbon and then loss, and everything accumulated will convert you. So we are now IoT based panels are getting made now by Amul Dairy. So this is what is happening. I always say that solar based, you can see some of the lighting at Kapliwa, which is now solar based. We have already, as I told you, dry type transformers. You can see dry type transformer, which are energy efficient, more than 99% efficiency. All the motors of Kapliwa, we say that very high energy efficient motor. And recently we did a survey of the motors across Amul, and we realized that there are motors which are very old, so we need to remove them. Most of the time they have been rewinded, so we are removing everything, improving the efficiency. And let me tell you, it doesn't cost much. It's only the decision that we have to take. Again, one of the major area of CO2 emission reduction is our refrigeration area, where we have now converted all these our condensers. These are our old condensers are now into a evaporating condenser. And you can see 1435 metric ton of reduction in this. And if you see, the 22 million units have been reduced because of evaporating condensers. We have also falling point chillers now at the factories we are converting into, and you can see the savings to the tune of almost 4,000 units a day, and reduction of 1,000 metric tons of CO2. Evaporating again at Virar also like this. Electric heat pump, somehow we have been happened to present this with in Japan. We worked with Japan, JICA and other people. This has not been successful in the sense it is successful, but not been replicated. But future is going to be the electric pump, which would be CO2 based, which has also helped us in reducing and is running wonderfully, generating heat on one side and taking chilling on the other side. On the thermal front, yes, solid fuel boilers, briquette with filers. You can see the entire boiler is fully automated. And these are all energy efficient boiler. What you see is a boiler house where you would not find a, you feel that you are moving in a processing plant of a dairy. This is a control room of a boiler. So these are all, again, you can see the cameras getting installed. Everybody knows with one data, every energy efficiency system has been monitored through digital platform. And I always say that all these put together, whether you put up a higher energy efficiency digital system, scrubbing system, and economizer, you see almost 2,000 metric ton of CO2 reduction happens in this. We also we've done the natural gas pipeline also now, which was in 1983, is now fully operational. So these were the areas where we have worked in the thermal area, but we have also done the reduction in CO2 emission through adoption of latest technology at Amul Dairy. And this is what we have done in warehouse, which is going to be a huge potential area, we realize. And then we have now electric mobile tracking system. That's again a technology with less people, less energy, and in a very small space with less people, less cooling system, you can bring down the energy. You can manage it. Automatic retrieval system. This again a different technology. We have now the third smart shuttle system, which we commissioned recently, even in Corona time. And you can see the quality clearance of the product in less than 48 hours. So what you are doing is basically you're reducing your time for clearing. So you're reducing your energy. You're reducing energy means you're reducing the CO2. You can see this, some of the photographs of the newly designed, a unique design cold room, which is never in the history of the dairy industry. I would say not in dairy, but entire India, this kind of cold storage would not be available, where you can have 4 degrees centigrade with fans and the cooling units. So this is where you can reduce the energy. At the same time, in cattle feed, we will find that these cattle feed with one single person handling the entire show, with reduction with the cold, the flat storages, you can reduce your energy bills like anything. And glimpses of the plant automation, I always say that again, there are no contactors or relays being purchased by Amul Dairy at any point of time. Obviously, the milk receptions and processing, we always say if you have multi-fat profile temperature and high regeneration sufficiency system, can bring down your energy bills. Evaporation plants with fully automated 5-stage, now going even for CBMM, again on drive and soft starters, or cattle feed plants which are highly efficient system, heat transfer system. The ice cream plants are now IoT based, and I would say Industry 4 solution, where with one machine you can have multiple products. So no need to have more machine, no need to have more manpower. With one machine you can do this. In process industry, manufacturing technology has changed in the dairy, where we say that continuous cheese making brings down our energy bills, our cost of production for the cheese. At the same time, cooling in the entire cheese segment has also reduced because of the indigenous development of the cooling system, where you can bring down the cost, because cheese cooling from 80 degree to 40 degree is a huge energy cost. This is now with the spiral system which has been developed by us. I always say that paneer technology, now we have 4 types of technology available, and the recent development is done in Virar, where we found that we have reduced our wastages, we have reduced our energy bills, we have made it a fully automatic cheese plant with a higher yield that has basically converted into our reduction in all the carbon footprints and all the things. Obviously, when we talk of the non-dairy, we always say that the chocolates, many of the people must have seen. Why I'm showing this is an area where the plant are been designed to reduce energy and give more efficiency, more outlet, more cost-effective solutions, where you can bring down your cost and save energy, and in terms the reduction in CO2, where you can see some of the ready-to therapeutic food and the peanut spread is getting manufactured in a fully automatic in a batching system, where they bring down your cost drastically. Why I'm showing this, the THR plants is the kind of meals which we have produced, we have used is energy efficient. I'm showing these photographs just for you to understand that potential are there in selection of the equipment in our dairy industry. At the village level, at the plant level, the sweet which is going, in Indian market is growing. You can find this, our sweet section is fully automated now. So even we call as bhattis, but the kettles are now automated to a tune where the temperature achieve automatically get closed. There is no need for no person. Automatically the stirrer get closed. Even the MAP, which can increase the shelf life, and you can transport it more with the less cost. All these things are happening in the industry. Robotic solution where you can bring down the paper. One of the pick and place model was done at Virar plant is now another model which is getting generated at Virar is the matrix solution, wherein less manpower, less wastage, less cost and ease of operation, and we can bring down the energy. So at the plant, that was at the plant. Now what at the corporate level? We can see that in sitting in the office, you can have the dashboard. This is what is the digitalization can do wonders. This is one of the snapshot of the dashboard which I see every day on my screen. I need not to call anyone, whether it talk of the production, whether it talk of cattle feed, whether it talk of the turnover, whether it talk of fat SNF, you talk of the product which has been sold, what is the status of the animals, what are the kind of disease happening, what are the AI has been done, whatever the across Amul, what is the disease pattern of the animals, which is an area where we need to work, how the milk is performing, everything is digitalized. If you see, let me tell you, it's a huge area. Today we used to have 1723 log sheets who are being filled manually in the plant. Today it is totally digitalized and 100%. We always say this is a software called Go Paperless, Be Efficient. Even I certify everything on digital platform. Amul Visitor Management System or Amul Vehicle Tracking System, everything has been digitalized. That help in reducing our, all these papers are nowhere. You come to Amul Dairy and not find any paper. It is totally digitalized. Online weighing system is also the key for the entire success. And as I say, the waste management, the plastic is going to be the future where a lot of work needs to be done, and we at Amul Dairy are continuously, trying to work on solid waste management, and we have generated our own sludge and we are now packing it and using it in all our plants. So this is where the solid waste management in the system for the bakery plant or for the digesters and biogas generation at various plants is getting utilized. You can see the solid waste also getting utilized. And for the waste management, I would say that these plastics are the area. It's an area where we really need to work, and we are working with GCMMF and diverted almost recyclable plastics has been utilized. So what are the results at the end of the day? You see this. These are an area, CO2 emission reduction through optimized transportation. If you see, this has been to the tune of 6.6 metric ton per year of CO2 to the elimination of extra tankers at Khatraj resulted in this much. So in tanker movement only, we have been able to bring it down to 359 metric ton of CO2. Carbonization reduction at different areas. If you see treated at water, I've showed you everything, but the summary says that almost 6,580 metric tons of CO2 reduction has taken place. And this is what, ultimate, earlier we used to go like this, specific energy consumption. I remember having come to Amul Dairy in 2012, we were 64.33 kWh per metric ton of milk, which is now at 36. If you see water consumption almost from 1.87 to 0.92, but see here the specific consumption of fuel, which was 40 SCM per metric ton, is now at 14. So this can do wonders. And if you see the total CO2 emission in Amul Dairy is to the tune of 52,000 metric ton last year, metric ton of CO2 reduction last year. So what next? Coming to the scope of the CO2 emission reduction in the Amul pattern is at the village level. We are talking about the different tankers. I told you about this. Is at the plant level we need to work, and at the marketing level also we need to work. So all the three levels needs to be worked totally in togetherness. Then only the things will improve. So future is now we are making the buildings which are green buildings. When we say green building, we have now very soon we'll be having one of our society which will be a totally green building based concept. Very soon that will be operational in next 6 to 8 months. The designing has been done. So maybe in future, all the societies would be a green building based concept. Same thing would happen for Amul Dairy. We have also seen that, alternatives for plastic with Federation is working very hard in reducing that thing. And we have to go reducing the plastic usages in the system. But one of the major area where Amul is working right now is liquefied natural gas for dairy transportation. So this can go up to 100-kilometer area. You can use this. Same time, we are also saying that, solar-based electric trucks for milk transportation and milk collection. This future in dairy would be all these trucks would be either on LNG or on electric. So when we say on electric, let me tell you, we are now going to we have developed with IDMC and NDDB. This is a electric bike, which is going to be electric bike very soon. Right now it is on petrol. This is a generator which is used for milking of the animal. So one person can milk the animal, but we are now trying to see that this bike is electric. So he can charge it anywhere. There's no need for this. So future is going to be the solar-based or greenhouse-based building, village level cooperative societies, solar-based BMCs. The transportation of milk is going to be through the LNG-based trucks, or we say that the future is going to be with the vehicles which are working on electric. And also with GCMF, we are also discussing and working on the captive solar, where all the dairies can, Federation can put up a solar plant at one point, which now State Electricity Board has also taken initiative, and then that can be converted to the grid, and we can bring down our main electricity usage in the system. And as Minesh Bhai also talked about the biofuel and the biofertilizer, where now we are also working a lot, and very soon you'll find Amul fertilizer also in the market. So what at the end of the day are the recognition what you get in terms of whatever you say, that Gujarat Cleaner Production Award or Innovation Award or the Energy and Environmental or FGI Award for Innovation, and ultimately the National Energy Conservation Award. So this is what you get at the end of the day, and that motivates you to see that we can bring down the entire thing. And in the end, I would like to thank everyone for that. But let me tell you, I would like to have a quote from United Nations World Meteorology Organization, which says that we are the first generation to fully understand the climate change, and the last generation to able to do that something for it. So thank you very much for this.
Thank you very much, Amit Bhai, for a very exhaustive presentation. You are required to keep your speech faster because you wanted to cover so many things.
Yes.
But if some other professor were talking this, it will take 2 hours. तो आपने 47 minutes में complete कर दिया.
और 20 minutes आप तक गए थे. So I completed.
You deserve appreciation for this. And मैं नोट करता था, मगर नोट करते करते भी मेरे जितने पेजेस थे वो एग्जॉस्ट हो गए, तो फिर मैं थोड़ा बंद कर दिया. Anyway, it was very good, and as summary of the presentation, I would like to hear some comments and remarks from the chairman of our Indian Dairy Association Western Zone, Shri Arun Patil sir. Patil sir, आपका कुछ रिमार्क दीजिए, फिर हम कंक्लूड करेंगे. So you are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Jas bhai. अमित भाई, मैं कहता आप बीती, मैं कहता खुद किया हुआ. आपने अपने अनुभव जो अभी हमारे साथ शेयर किए हैं बहुत ही उम्दा है, और सभी के लिए काफी कुछ सीखने लायक थे. It's a wonderful achievement of Amul, and as Amul is on the forefront of all the developments, all the new things to be practiced and afterwards preached, and people emulate it. That is Amul. I'm highly impressed, especially with your reduction in the carbon dioxide and methane and reducing the footprint of the carbon. Along with this, which probably people may not know, that Amul is also known for the social cause. As in today's world, it is not only the carbon neutral and ecological and this environmental issues the world is addressing, but we have to address the social as well as corporate governance. And Amul and most of the Gujarat Federation constituent units, they are known for that. And this is the need of the day. Today, all the corporate world and the world over, various organizations, especially financial organizations, they give importance to the ESG. ESG means environmental, social, and governance. So definitely, Amul is definitely known for the environmental issues to be addressed, and they have been successfully addressing it. Social, anyway, that is in the core of the cooperative, and you are living with very, very high standards, and you are delivering the things. Governance also, and this is the model which other cooperatives as well as privates have to emulate, and not only emulate only in one particular discipline, but in totality. So once again, congratulations for all the achievements you have done. And I'm sure that you must be guiding and you must be educating the people who will be visiting your plants and who will be really taking the knowledge from you, because this is the role which Dr. Kurian had always envisioned, that GCMMF, Amul and its constituent units, they should not work only for them, but they should be working for the cooperatives as well as private of the country and of course world. And you people have been really coming true to the vision of Dr. Kurian. With this, once again, I congratulate you and your constituent units and of course your colleagues. It is not one man's job, but yes, you need a good leader, and you have been doing that leader's job as Dr. Kurian has always envisioned. Thank you very much. And this is a beautiful presentation on the World Milk Day. I don't know, there may be few people attending this, but I will request you to kindly share your presentation, and Dr. Prajapati, kindly propagate it as much as possible. Let us publicize it in a big way so that more and more people are benefited, and ultimately the mankind is benefited with that. Thank you very much, and all the best once again.
Thank you very much, Patil sir, for your remarks. Before I conclude, if anybody has any comments or question or query, Amit bhai, we can have 5 minutes. अगर किसी को अमित भाई के लिए,
Can I come in, please?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Prajapati,
Yes, sir.
Sir,
सर आवाज ब्रेक हो रही है.
Amit bhai, can you just play your earlier slides, especially the animal, how digitization, just initial slides.
Sir, Patil sir, Professor Inder is speaking. Please बोलिए sir.
Later on. Yeah.
Sorry sir, it is not audible. Probably you can write in the comment box.
I'll check.
What's up?
I would like to.
हाँ जी, पारेख साहब कुछ कहना चाहते हैं. डॉक्टर जेवी पारेख.
Yeah. Wish you all a happy World Milk Day. I think Amit bhai has done an excellent job sharing how it can be reduced carbon footprint throughout the completely dairy chain. But I have read some report from the New Zealand recently that they are the lowest carbon emission country in the dairy industry, about 0.25 kg of the carbon per kg of the fat. So in our case, I mentioned about 2.5 kg. So I think we have to work out and little bit do the more study what he has mentioned. But whether it was actually can be
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your comments. हम ये अपना पूरा रिकॉर्डिंग YouTube पर आएगा, और let me now give a summary of this presentation. We had a very good input from Shri Minesh Shah and Dr. R.S. Sodhi in the beginning. They set the platform, and then we heard the story of Amul Dairy. Amit Bhai is very excellently started by starting with the definition of carbon footprint, क्योंकि काफी लोगों को भी पता नहीं होता कि कार्बन फुटप्रिंट क्या है, तो उसे शुरुआत की है. बहुत ही अच्छे टीचर की एक गुणधर्म है, वेरी गुड टीचर. And then he gave the implications of environment, means climate change का क्या स्थिति है, and how we are contributing, and probably it is a good news that we are trying to revert the effects of climate change slowly. पिछले एक आध साल में कुछ फर्क पड़ रहा है. He also started with general measures to save the energy. हम सब लोगों के लिए, सिर्फ डेयरी प्लांट के लिए नहीं है, बट हम कैसे लाइट ऑफ करके या पानी का नल बंद करके कैसे सेव कर सकते हैं वो भी बताया. बाद में जो उन्होंने बहुत सारे स्टेप बताए, मैंने 25-30 पॉइंट लिखे हैं, बट जस्ट आई विल जस्ट रीड आउट कि सोलर बीएम से शुरुआत की, गांव में सोलर बीएम से डालने से कितना फर्क पड़ा, बायोगैस जनरेशन एट विलेज लेवल, और बायोगैस के साथ फर्टिलाइजर भी बनाना, एनिमल टैगिंग से कितना सारा सेविंग हो सकता है वो भी उन्होंने विद डेटा दिखाया, दैट इट रिड्यूसेस ऑल द एफर्ट्स फॉर ऑपरेशंस रिलेटेड टू दैट. रेशन बैलेंसिंग, एआई सर्विसेज, डिसीज मैनेजमेंट, प्रिवेंशन, ये सब में जो एफर्ट्स लगाए वो सब रियली कार्बन फुटप्रिंट रिड्यूस करने में हेल्पफुल होता है. सबसे ज्यादा फायदा हो रहा है डिजिटलाइजेशन से ऑफ मिल्क रिसीविंग ऑपरेशंस. मोबाइल एप्स इतने सारे डेवलप किए, तो उनका शायद बैकग्राउंड को जो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स का इंस्ट्रूमेंटेशन का था बहुत काम में आ रहा है, और खास करके बीएमसी मॉनिटरिंग सिस्टम में भी, और रूट ऑप्टिमाइजेशन बहुत सारा काम हुआ, और उससे काफी सारा फर्क पड़ता है. उन्होंने बताया कि 65 मेट्रिक टन्स ऑफ गैस CO2 emission per annum has been saved. तो बहुत ही बड़ा इम्पैक्ट है. इस साथ स्टडी ऑफ एनर्जी मैनेजमेंट साइकिल्स जो किया, खास करके अमूल ग्रीन का जो इनिशिएटिव है, बायोगैस प्लांट्स है, आप बायोगैस के जो बलून दे सकते हो, तो इससे जो एमिशंस है तो बहुत सारा रिड्यूस हो गया. एक एग्जांपल डेटा दिया उन्होंने, 511 मेट्रिक टन्स पर एनम, वो इतना रिड्यूस है. सच वेरी बिग अचीवमेंट. सबसे बड़ा दूसरा इम्पैक्ट हुआ वाटर मैनेजमेंट में, खास करके रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग में, वाटर ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट में, वेस्ट ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट्स में, कंडेंसेशन का जो रीयूटिलाइजेशन हो रहा है, तो इतना सारा पानी सेव हो रहा है, तो दैट इज रियली ए गुड सेविंग टू दिस. मेरे को याद है जब मैं ट्रेनिंग करता था अमूल में 1980s में, उस टाइम तो हम कहते थे कि भाई 1 लीटर मिल्क प्रोसेस करने के लिए 3 से 4 लीटर पानी यूज हो जाता है. अभी नाउ दैट रेशियो हैज कम टू लेस देन 1 लीटर ऑफ वाटर पर लीटर ऑफ मिल्क हैंडल. सो बहुत ही बड़ा अचीवमेंट है. रिडक्शन इन पावर की बात की, ऑटोमेशन की बात की, खास करके यूज ऑफ VFDs एंड सॉफ्ट स्टार्टर्स. ये ऑपरेटिव कंडेंसर्स, रेफ्रिजरेशन बहुत बड़ा एनर्जी कंज्यूम कर सकता है, उसके अंदर भी इलेक्ट्रिक हीट पंप, ऑपरेटिव कंडेंसर्स यूज करके बहुत ही अच्छा चेंज किया है. एनर्जी एफिशिएंट बॉयलर्स की भी बात की उन्होंने, और खास करके जो नई नई टेक्नोलॉजी से व्हिच ही हैज ट्राइड टू अडॉप्ट, खास करके स्टोरेज, वेयरहाउस स्टोरेज, स्मार्ट शटल सिस्टम्स, कोल्ड स्टोरेज, कूलिंग सिस्टम, स्टोरेज सिस्टम्स इन कैटल फीड आल्सो, and also the processing operations. आइसक्रीम प्लांट के लिए IoT बेस बनाया, continuous cheese production and cooling of cheese, क्योंकि lot of energy is being used in such operations which we do not know. इसलिए पनीर में, THR प्लांट्स में, स्वीट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का जो ऑटोमेशन हुआ, that all has led to reduction in carbon footprints of the dairy plant. रोबोटिक्स का यूज फर्स्ट टाइम विराट प्लांट में किया, और that is also helping a lot. डिजिटलाइजेशन ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम भी बहुत सारा एडवांटेज दे रहा है. We have solid waste management system, प्लास्टिक रिसाइकलिंग का काम हो रहा है, और ये सब ऑपरेशंस को क्वांटिफाई भी किया है, that how these operations have helped. So this is a good example and a very good success story which probably IDF can print in the International Dairy Federation's bulletin, that success story of Amul Dairy. तो मेरा अमित भाई से रिक्वेस्ट है कि वो हमें दे, या थ्रू VKCOE के थ्रू या IRBA के थ्रू हम उसको एक प्रिंट करवाएंगे फॉर द यूज ऑफ द वर्ल्ड लीडर्स. बाद में फ्यूचर इनिशिएटिव्स बहुत सारा किया उन्होंने, ग्रीन बिल्डिंग्स, ऑल्टरनेटिव्स टू प्लास्टिक्स, लिक्विफाइड नेचुरल गैस, इलेक्ट्रिक बाइक्स, सोलर प्लांट्स, बायोफ्यूल्स, बायोफर्टिलाइजर, बहुत सारी बातें की. सो probably we are now full with the big plate of the lunch which Amit bhai has given. इतने सारे आइटम्स दे दिए हैं कि सबको एक साथ में खाने में बहुत दिक्कत होगी, मगर थोड़ा थोड़ा भी चखेंगे, थोड़ा थोड़ा भी स्वाद उसका चखेंगे तो it is going to be helpful to the dairy industry. So on this World Milk Day, we are very much thankful to Sri Amit Vyas for giving us such an insightful talk, and that is a lesson, that is an example, that is a story which other unions and other federations can learn from Amul. So thank you very much, Amit bhai, once again. And further,
Thank you very much, sir, for giving this opportunity. Thank you very much, sir.
it is our privilege, and the Varghese Kurian Center of Excellence at IRMA and the Indian Dairy Association Gujarat State Chapter, दोनों का मैं chairman हूँ, तो I am feeling privileged कि I am able to coordinate the activities of the IDA and also our center. And we have excellent neighbors, DCF, NTDB, IDMC, Amul Dairy, NCDFI, and all those really stakeholders of the dairy industry are here in Anand, and we are happily working on this. I'm also thankful to other organizations who, because I announced first that my program will be at 11 o'clock, so even IDA Major and others have shifted the program timings accordingly. But still, we are a little bit collapsing with the government program, which was declared only a day before yesterday. So thank you very much. I am very much thankful to our director, Sri Professor Umakant Das, for giving the welcome address and allowing us to host this program on IRMA platform. Definitely will be showing the recordings of today's program on YouTube IRMA official very soon. A link will be shared for all this, so that everybody can view this program. I'm also thankful to Sri Dinesh Shah, the Executive Director of NDDB, for introducing initiatives of NDDB to us and also being participant to this. He is also the Vice President of IDA Gujarat Chapter. I'm also thankful to Dr. R.S. Sodhi, Managing Director of GCMMF, for readily accepting our invitation to be there on today's talk, even though he has a couple of presentations more for today, and he is very busy, but he spared time and full time he remained with us. So thank you very much, sir, for being with us and encouraging us for all the time. I'm also thankful to the other members of the IDA Western Zone, especially Sri Arun Patil sir, and also Dr. J.V. Parekh, and the other members of the State Executive Committee of the Gujarat State Chapter, especially Nitesh Mathur sir was with his, Deepak Shah, MD, Vidya Dairy was with us. I cannot see on the whole screen that how many other people are still there. Dr. H.K. Desai, the Secretary of IDA SSC, is sitting in probably Valsad and watching us live. And several IRMA faculty, students, and probably we have seen that in our 165 registrations, most of the people were of assistant manager level of different unions of Gujarat. काफी लोगों को ये गूगल मीट का लिंक हम पहुंच नहीं पाया है, क्योंकि लास्ट मोमेंट वी कुड नॉट लाइव टेलीकास्ट ऑन दिस, बट जिसको पास पहुंचा नहीं उसको प्लीज मैसेज पहुंचा दीजिए कि गूगल आज का रिकॉर्डिंग का लिंक उनको पहुंचा दिया जाएगा. सो द इंडियन डेयरी इंडस्ट्री इज वेरी ईगर टू लिसन टू द सक्सेस स्टोरी ऑफ अमूल. सो एट द एंड I am thankful to my team at VKCAV, Shivansh Mishra, Ankit Sontakke, and Pankaj Parmar for managing the whole show, and also the management of other institutions for collaborating with us on this day. So with this, I would like to thanks once again to all of you, all the stalwarts of dairy industry, and once again wish you a very, very happy, healthy World Milk Day today. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir.